Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Our today's session is on sentence transformation. Well, what I mean by sentence transformation is to change or modify a sentence in different form and structure, still retaining its meaning or its crux. Before we go for today's session's contents, I would like to share the review of our previous session. Our previous session was a continuation on the sessions that were related to the features of academic writing. I talked about the accuracy, hedging, and responsibility. These three important features of academic writing were discussed in the previous session, and I gave you examples of these. Towards the end of the previous session, I also shared some good reading habits with you and shared some tips how you can improve your reading habits by working on those certain points. As far as today's session is concerned, our today's session, as I have said earlier, is about sentence transformation. I would introduce what I mean by sentence transformation, and then I would go on to important rules of sentence transformation. We would work in detail on the rules and regulations that are generally used in sentence transformation when it comes to the writing of English. We would also have some exercises of sentence transformation. Well, as far as definition of sentence transformation is concerned, I would say sentence transformation is the application of some type of syntactic rule or convention to move an element in a sentence from one position to another, retaining the main idea of the sentence. Form and structure are two separate. Form, structure, and meaning are separate things. As far as form and structure is concerned, same form and structure can be used to convey different meanings, whereas one structure can be used for creating a variety of meanings. For example, can you give me your ballpoint? Will you please give me your ballpoint? Would it be possible if you give me your ballpoint? May I have your ballpoint? I wonder if you could give me your ballpoint. Would you mind giving me your ballpoint? Please, your ballpoint. And sometimes your ballpoint, or even sometimes with the help of using a single word, ballpoint, we mention that we need a ballpoint. However, all these expressions, when it comes to speaking, they become easier to handle with because the form and meaning are supported with the tone of the voice and gestures. However, when it comes to writing, it does not remain possible anymore. And we have to use variety of structures that are what I would call tightly structured sentences to convey different meanings. In the same way, one meaning can be conveyed through different structures in writing when you want to stress different parts of that message or that meaning. Which part you foreground in your sentence and which part you do not. Which part you make the subject of your sentence and where do you place your object. All these change the stress or emphasis in terms of the meaning of particular parts in a sentence. The knowledge of sentence transformation then helps students in academic writing where they can think of varied possibilities of conveying meanings and creating different structures to convey the meanings according to the context in which they write. The ability to rewrite sentences so that they have the same meaning as the original is what we call sentence transformation. And I hope you would agree that it is often required for many English ESL, EFL exams such as Cambridge's first certificate, CAE and proficiency tests, for IELTS, for TOEFL examinations, and many other tests of English that are taken for international and national admission purposes, etc. So sentence transformation becomes an integral part of the study skills that students at higher level need to acquire for doing their studies in an efficient way. Well, here we have a set of rules that I'm going to share with you that are regarding the basic rules of sentence pattern transformations. The basic sentence patterns in English language may be transformed in the following ways. Number one, transforming the active voice into passive voice. Well, this transformation requires using a sentence with an action verb and a direct object. Now, the sentence may be of any of the following patterns. Please look at these patterns that you can see on the slide. The first pattern may be noun phrase 1 plus verb transitive plus noun phrase 2. An example of this kind of sentence is the dog ate the bone. So these kind of sentences can be transformed with the help of using certain rules that I'm going to share with you, and you can change them into passive voice. The second type of sentences where there is an action verb and a direct object, and they have one noun phrase plus one verb transitive plus noun phrase 2 plus noun phrase 3. Even these sentences can also be transformed into passive voice. These type of sentences are like this sentence, Joe gave Mary a ring. Now please look at the structure of the sentence, noun phrase or noun. Here NP stands for noun phrase, but here in this case Joe is a noun which stands an equivalent to noun phrase. For example, the most eligible bachelor Joe, for example, young Joe, for example, Mr. Joe. So different phrases could have been used as an equivalent for this. And look at the other two nouns or noun phrases that are used, marry and ring. Compare this now to the first sentence that is given, the dog ate the bone. There you only have two nouns or noun phrases, the dog and the bone. Here in this case you have three, Joe, Mary and a ring. So the third rule for this is that place the original doer of the action into a prepositional phrase beginning with by. The phrase would start with the word by. Examples can be, actually this is the first sentence that I gave you as an example of the sentence structure that can be easily changed into passive voice. If you remember, the dog ate the bone. Now if you look at the sentence, the dog is the subject, whereas the bone is the direct object. What you have to do to transform the sentence into passive form is that this part, the bone, that is direct object, would come as the subject of the sentence. On the other hand, what was originally the subject of the sentence, that is the dog, it would come at the position of the object. This is the doer of the action that would come here, and see, doer of action in by prepositional phrase. So by comes before this doer of the action. So the bone or यहाँ पर by the dog, and the rest is to be done auxiliary, that is जो भी आपकी is, am, are जो भी form है according to the tense of the structure वो आप लगा देंगे. और third form, en here actually refers to the third form, so you would use third form of the verb or en in that case. So you have the passive, the bone was eaten by the dog. Look at the second example now. The second sentence that we had, the second structure that we had was Mary gave Joe a ring. Now look at the structure or the syntax of the sentence. You have Mary as subject, Joe as indirect object, and ring as direct object. If you compare it with the previous sentence, the dog ate the bone, there was only one object, that was the direct object. Here we have two objects. In this case, Joe is indirect object, whereas ring is the direct object, because actually it is the ring on which some work is done. That is, it is given to somebody. Now, look at the passive formation. A ring was given to Joe by Mary. Again, this is changing the subject, making its position come at the end. The doer of the action from here would come here at the end of the sentence, and you would add by before it. अब दो objects है ना यहाँ पर, Joe and a ring. What you have to do is जो direct object है, you would place this one before here at the foregrounding of the sentence, at the beginning of the sentence, which means the direct object would become the subject of this sentence and the indirect object would come afterwards. A ring was given to Joe by Mary. If you bring the indirect object at the beginning of the sentence, you would not have the right construction, and the meaning would be changed. So here we go for the third example. The third example states active form as we consider Joe intelligent. Well, when you look at the construction of this formation, we have we as subject, Joe as direct object, and intelligent as objective complement. This is also an adjective that is used for Joe. Now, in order to create a passive formation, what you have to do is the direct object Joe would come at the beginning as the subject, and the doer of the action, that is we, with its changed form us, would come here at the end by adding a prepositional phrase by. And look at the use of the auxiliary, by the way, and look at the third form of the verb that is used. So what you would do is you would bring the object as your subject, you would put your subject as at the end as an object by adding by to it, and the sentence construction that ultimately you would have would be Joe is considered intelligent by us. The fourth possible formation that I want to share with you is that the active sentence is the people made Olive king. In this case, you can see the people is subject, which is to be made the object by adding by to it, by the people. As far as Olive is concerned, Olive is direct object and king is objective complement. So what you would do is you would bring this Olive at the beginning, and what you would construct as a passive formation is Olive was made king by the people. It is a note of caution for you that do not change verb tense when transforming sentences from active to passive, which means आप जब किसी एक sentence को from active voice you are changing it to passive voice, you are not supposed to change its time of whatsoever happening or event is referred to in it is to be retained. If it is in present tense, you would retain the present tense. If it is in past or any particular form of past tense, then you would retain that particular past tense. However, you would change its construction, and what you would do is that you would use an auxiliary plus the third form of the verb. For example, ate. Now this is past tense, second form of eat. Now what you would do is was eaten. Gave, second form again, was given. So you are using was here in both the cases. But when it comes to consider, for example, now since this is the first form, so you would use is, the first form of auxiliary for it. However, you see considered, eaten, given, all these are the third forms. In the same way, he made a, for example, he made a cake. A cake was made. So second forms, अब यहाँ third form भी made ही है, so you would have that, but you would have the auxiliary that would reflect the second form. Well, my dear students, these are not the only rules, I would say, of changing the active sentences to passive sentences. There are many other rules. However, these are those main forms of construction. However, these are those main forms of construction of passive sentences that I have shared that most of the times are used in English. The second important rule that I would like to share with reference to how you see we change the we transform the sentence from one form to the other, and the possibility of application of that rule I would share with you. The rule is that transform to the expletive there is, there are. This transformation requires using a sentence with a verb of being as the main verb. The sentence pattern must be noun or noun phrase plus verb be plus adverb or TP. Let me show you how. A fly is on the wall. A fly is on the wall. Please try to see this sentence in terms of this construction. A fly is a noun phrase that is used, is used here as an auxiliary, that is the verb be or the auxiliary verb or the helping verb, on the wall. A prepositional phrase, a preposition is used, prepositional phrase is used, and the action actually of the fly where it is mentioned with the help of its positioning. Two dogs were at the park. So the same construction is repeated in this one as well. Now to create the transformation, place there at the beginning of the sentence and reverse positions of the subject and verb. So there are two rules to do this. First, bring the word, place the verb there, there, there at the beginning of the sentence. And the second thing that is to be done is replace the positions or reverse the positions of subject and verb. Now look at the example. A fly is on the wall is the original sentence. Now if you want to transform its form and you still want to retain the exact meaning, what you can do is you can use a there is or there are structure, because this is a singular noun here, so you would use is here. There is a fly on the wall. What has happened? The auxiliary verb, it comes before a fly, whereas in the original sentence the noun phrase or the subject a fly comes before it. अब इन दोनों की position जो है ना, you would change, so you can see that, and the rest of the sentence is retained. Look at the second example. The second example states two dogs were at the park. There were. Now since two dogs, plural subject, so you would have are or were, because it is a past tense form, so you would use were. There were two dogs at the park. So again the position of two dogs and the auxiliary verb were, these are to be changed, and you can see were comes before two dogs and the construction that is left is retained. There were two dogs at the park. In this case, again, I would like to point out, do not change verb tense when creating the there is or there are transformations. My dear students, the third rule that can be used to transform is transform to cleft. This transformation allows the writer to emphasize the sentence subject or object. Let us see what do I exactly mean by this. This transformation may be used with any of the sentence patterns. There are two ways to create this transformation. Important thing so far about this rule is that this transformation can be used for any kind of sentence pattern. So the rule is very general and can be applied very easily. There are two ways of creating this kind of transformation. Please look at these methods. Method number one is begin the sentence with it and the appropriate number and tense of the verb of being. Number two, focus on either the subject or direct object. And number three, create a second half for the sentence that begins with who, whom, or that. What I mean by this, let me give you a concrete example of that. Look at the sentence. Original sentence is the dog ate the bone. Cleft transformation would be it was the dog that ate the bone. So you would use it at the beginning, then an auxiliary, it was the dog, and then you would use that and the rest of the sentence, ate the bone. It was the dog that ate the bone. So you have, if you go back, you would see I said that in the cleft transformation, actually the writer can emphasize the sentence subject or the sentence object. So it is a matter of choice for the author or the writer of the sentence whether you want to emphasize the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence. Now let me show what I mean by this. Okay, here in this sentence, when you change the dog ate the bone, you had a cleft transformation. What you did was, it was the dog that ate the bone. In this case, the emphasis is on the dog, that is the subject of the, you see, this is the subject of the sentence. But if you want to emphasize the bone, that is the object of the sentence, you can create the same kind of construction. It was the bone that the dog ate. So again, it was, then the object would come here, in this case the bone, और फिर ये जो that का use आपने करना है, ये देखिए यहाँ भी किया है और फिर यहाँ भी किया है, and then ये जो subject वाला part है, it would come at the end in this case. So it was the dog that ate the bone, or it was the bone that the dog ate. In the first one, you have emphasis on dog, that is the subject. But as a writer, if you want to emphasize bone, then what you can do is you can have a cleft transformation that emphasizes the object by using this structure. I hope it would be clear to you, and this is a very, very simple method of transforming sentences. And the beauty of it is that it can be applied to almost all type of sentences. So as I have already said in the first example, the cleft transformation emphasizes the subject, that is the dog, using three words to refer to the dog: it, dog, and that. In the second cleft transformation, emphasis is on the direct object, that is bone, and by using three words to refer to the bone, it, bone, and that, this emphasis is created. Now look at this sentence. We consider Joe intelligent. This is one of the original sentences that we have been using repeatedly for different examples. Again, I am using the same sentence. So if your sentence is we consider Joe intelligent and you want to have a cleft transformation, what you can do is, it is Joe whom we consider intelligent, or it is we who consider Joe intelligent. Please notice the use of whom and the use of who in comparison to the previous two examples where we used that for the emphasis on subject or for the emphasis on object. In both the cases, when the example of the dog and the bone was given in that sentence construction, actually that was used. Now here whom is used. So in this case, it is Joe whom we consider intelligent. So when Joe, the subject, comes at the beginning, you use whom for that. In comparison to this, when we, that is the subject, when this comes at the beginning, but you use subject at the beginning, what happens? You use who as a linking word. So the difference in the use of whom and who is to be considered in the construction of these two sentences, whereas in the case of the previous two examples, both the cases could have had that as we used. So as I have said earlier, in the above example, the first cleft transformation emphasizes the direct object Joe using three words to refer to Joe: it, Joe, and whom. In the second sentence transformation, the second cleft transformation, emphasis is on the subject we, and three words again, it, we, and who are used. So you see the difference is how you would use whom or who. With this, I bring you to the second method of creating these cleft transformations. The second method of creating cleft transformations is that begin the sentence with what, then follow with the subject and verb, and insert the appropriate tense of the verb of being and follow with the direct object. Maybe it would sound complicated to you. I hope the example would add clarity to your understanding. So let us see the example. If the original sentence is the dog ate the bone, you can have a cleft transformation by creating what the dog ate was the bone. Now in this case, you see the first rule was begin the sentence with what. So we have started the sentence with what. Then follow with the subject and verb. The subject dog and the verb ate. So the dog ate. What the dog ate. Insert the appropriate tense of the verb of being and follow with the direct object. आपका डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है बोन, वो आएगा और उससे पहले अप्रोप्रिएट फॉर्म ऑफ ऑक्सिलरी ऑफ हेल्पिंग वर्ब आएगी. सिंस एट यूज हुआ हुआ है, दिस इज द सेकंड फॉर्म, तो आप पास्ट फॉर्म लगाएंगे और सिंगल ऑब्जेक्ट है बोन, तो इसलिए वॉज लगेगा, वर नहीं लगेगा. द नेचुरल रिजल्ट इज दैट यू हैव अ क्लेफ्ट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, दैट इज व्हाट द डॉग एट वाज द बोन. So in this example, the cleft transformation emphasizes the direct object bone using two words to refer to the bone, what and bone. Continuing with the second method, I would give you one more example. If the original sentence is Joe gave Mary a ring. In this case, Joe is the subject, a ring is the direct object. Now the cleft transformation would be what Joe gave Mary was a ring. So what you would do is you would use what at the beginning of the sentence, then the subject Joe, then the verb gave, and then the, in this case you see the indirect object that would come here, and a ring जो आपका डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है उससे पहले you would use the helping verb. So exactly like the previous example, जैसे ये शेयर की थी, here only one thing is to be added. यहाँ पर वो जो आपका एक indirect object है ना, उस केस में since you have two objects, तो you would use one object here, that would be indirect one. इस केस में you have only one object, direct object, इसलिए ये construction comparatively simpler है. Here the cleft transformation anyhow emphasizes the direct object ring using two words to refer to the ring, what and ring. Again, a word of caution for you in this regard is do not change the verb tense when creating the cleft transformation. For example, the dog ate the bone. तो अब ate चूँकि second form है, so you would use it was the dog who ate the bone, it was the bone that the dog ate, or what the dog ate was the bone. In all the blue colored highlighted verbs or auxiliaries, if you look at them, you would see the past tense is reflected through these choices, so you would retain the tense. In the same way, when I gave the example of present tense, we consider Joe intelligent. You are supposed to retain the present tense. That is why it is Joe whom we consider intelligent. So you see in this example, is and consider both are to be retained. Is the auxiliary is to be used in order to show the present tense. In the third example, Joe gave Mary a ring. Because gave, second form is used, so in cleft transformation you would retain that, and it can be seen through the use of gave and was here. What Joe gave Mary was a ring. Now moving forward, I would go to the next rule of sentence transformation, and the rule is transform to negative. When you transform to negative, actually this transformation may be used with any of the sentence patterns. So again, this is a generalized rule that can be used with any sentence patterns, which gives you a lot of freedom to create different kind of structures in your writing while retaining the same meaning. So how to do that? How to transform to negative? To create the negative transformation, the first thing that you are supposed to do is, with a verb of being as the main verb, add not to the verb. Look at the example, it would make this clear. Look at the sentence. Fido is my dog. Simply, Fido is not my dog. With an action or linking verb that has an auxiliary verb, have or be, you add not to the verb. Examples of action verbs. The dog is eating the bone. The dog is not eating the bone. I think this is something very simple and you understand that. Look at the example of the linking verb. The grass was growing tall. The grass was not growing tall. See, with an action or linking verb that does not have an auxiliary verb, add not and the appropriate number and tense of do. Look at the example. The dog eats the bone. The dog does not eat the bone. In the same way, the grass grew tall. The grass did not grow tall. So these are the past forms. Transform to interrogative with yes, no answer. This transformation may be used with any of the sentence patterns to transform sentences into the interrogative with yes, no answer. First thing that you are supposed to do is, with the verb of being as the main verb, transpose the position of the subject and the verb. Fido is my dog. The auxiliary would come, of course, at the beginning. Well, this is a very, very basic rule of sentence transformation, and I am sure most of you know this rule very well. However, if somebody has difficulty with this, I hope this would add to clarity. With an action or linking verb that has an auxiliary verb, have or be, transpose the position of the subject and the auxiliary verb. Look at the example. The dog is eating the bone. Is the dog eating the bone? Please look at the use of the arrows that indicate the positioning of everything. This verb is to be split into two parts, and is the auxiliary would come at the beginning. The grass was growing tall. Was the grass growing tall? Again, it is to be split into two parts. The auxiliary part has to come at the beginning, whereas the main verb is to be retained at its place. With an action or linking verb that does not have an auxiliary verb, add the appropriate number and tense of do. What I mean by this is, for example, the dog eats the bone. Does the dog eat the bone? So you see this S, because it refers to the subject that is single. So using this S as a clue to the use of present tense plus a singular subject, you would bring does at the beginning, then the subject and the verb would be retained, and you can notice S from the verb is removed. When it comes to the past tense, the grass grew tall. The word grew here as the second form of the verb gives you a clue about that it is past, so you would create did for that, and then the rest of the sentence would be retained, and what you would do is the first form of the word would be used. So did the grass grow tall? So as I have already said, to create the question transformation, actually you can use it with any of the sentence structures, and to create this transformation, place an interrogative word at the beginning of the sentence, reverse positions of the subject and verb, and add do, does or did if needed, that is action or linking verb without auxiliary verb, and you would have these formations. Interrogative words how, when, where, why, what, which, who and whom can also be used as per needs. Look at the example, I think that would add to your clarity. Joe is happy. Why is Joe happy? Two things are to be done. Why, the interrogative word is to be used in this case. Why, when, how, etc. These choices are to be made according to the nature of what is being talked about in the sentence. And then the second main thing is that the position of the auxiliary, that is the verb of being, and the subject, that is Joe in this case, the position is to be changed. So why is Joe happy? Instead of Joe is happy, it becomes is Joe here in this case. Why is Joe happy? The other example of action verb in this case is the dog is eating the bone. Where is the dog eating the bone? Or why is the dog eating the bone? Or how is the dog eating the bone? Interrogative word according to choice, and again you split the verb. You take the auxiliary verb is before the doer of the action or the subject, and the rest of the part, the main verb, remains at its place. So where is the dog eating the bone? Here is another type of example. The grass has grown tall. Here has grown is the verb, whereas grass is the subject. How in this case, for example, or why, as a matter of fact, जो भी according to the situation आप जो भी पूछना चाह रहे हैं, there can be an interrogative word. So here, how has the grass grown tall? Here again what you would do is, has grown is to be split into two parts. Has, the auxiliary, would go before the grass, that is the subject or the noun phrase in this case, and grown would be retained at its place. So you would have how has the grass grown tall. My dear students, the next example that I would share in this regard, where you use different interrogative words at the beginning of different types of sentences to create interrogative transformations, is the dog eats the bone. How does the dog eat the bone? So in this case, does. Now S is a clue, that is a marker that tells us that it is about a single subject. It also tells us that this is the present form. So what we would do is, does is to be used in this case. How does? Then the dog is to be retained, and the verb eats, because S is changed into does here, it comes before. So what is to be done? This S is to be removed, and you would have eat here. How does the dog eat the bone? Or why does the dog eat the bone? Or when does the dog eat the bone? Or where does the dog eat the bone? Any interrogative word according to the nature of the question or the information that you want to have, you can ask. In the same way, when it goes to the past structures, the grass grew tall, you see what you're supposed to do is, when did the grass grow tall? Again, grew gives us a clue on that it is past tense, so what you have to do is, you would use did, the second form of the auxiliary do, and you would have then the first form of verb grow here, and it is to be split into two parts. Did would come before the grass, that is the subject, and grow would come after that. The result is, when did the grass grow tall? Well, it is important for you here to notice that sentences that use which or whose to create the interrogative may not require adding do, does or did, or transposing the positions of the subject and verb. Let me show you through the examples. The dog eats the bone. Whose dog eats the bone? So you see, using whose. The dog is eating the bone. Whose dog is eating the bone? Instead of eats, is eating is there. The grass has grown tall. Which grass has grown tall? So when it comes to which or whose, these kind of constructions can be used. Well, I hope the rules that I have shared with you with reference to the transformation of sentences would have been clear. We still have a few more rules that I would like to share with you. So we come to the 7th main rule of transformation of sentences. This kind of transformation is that takes place to emphasize. So when you want to transform to emphasize or to be emphatic, what you would do is you can use with all sentence patterns except the verb of being patterns. This kind of structure is again very general and it can be used with all other types of sentences. However, as I said, there is an exception, and the exception is that you cannot use it with the verb of being patterns. I would soon show you with the help of examples what does it mean. With action or linking verbs that do not have auxiliary verbs, you can also use these. To make the emphatic transformation, place do, does or did. I repeat, use do, does or did to make the emphatic transformation, and you place these in front of the verb as tense and number dictate, which means you would choose do, does or did according to the tense कि past tense है या present tense है. अगर present है तो of course do या does होगा, past है तो did होगा, और फिर verb के accordingly you want to show the action of one subject or of more. तो अगर एक के लिए है तो does लगेगा, या जो rules हैं कि he, she, it के लिए does लगेगा, या किसी नाम के लिए does लगेगा, बाकियों के लिए I, you and all the plurals would take do. Look at the examples to have some clarity. The dog eats the bone. The dog does eat the bone. अब this is very important to understand. When you want to emphasize something, does would be added. When you want to emphasize, does would be added here before the verb, and the s from the verb would be removed. अब ये ऑलमोस्ट जैसे हमने इंट्रोगेटिव के लिए किया था ना, डज द डॉग ईट द बोन, बाकी वही स्ट्रक्चर है, डज उसी तरह से क्रिएट हुआ है, बट द वर्ड डज वुड नॉट कम हियर, बल्कि वो वर्ब से पहले आएगा, यहाँ पर ईट से पहले लगाएंगे. इन दिस केस व्हेन यू से द डॉग डज ईट द बोन, इट मीन्स यू आर एम्फसाइजिंग कि लाजमन you are emphasizing that the dog eats the bone. जब आप किसी चीज़ के, for example, if you say you come to the meeting, and when you say you do come to the meeting, when you say you come to the meeting, it means कि meeting के लिए आओ, और जब आप कहते हैं you do come to the meeting, उसका मतलब है कि लाजमन आओ. So you are emphasizing. Now look at the second structure. Mary gave Joe a ring. Mary did give Joe a ring. So past tense था, यहाँ पर gave, so it would be changed into give, and did would be used. We consider Joe intelligent. We do consider Joe intelligent. हम बिल्कुल, हम लाजमन Joe को intelligent consider करते हैं. This is for emphasis. The people made Olive King. The people did make Olive King. पक्की बात है, लाजमी बात है, emphasis के लिए did. So people made Olive King and the people did make Olive King. The difference is, this is a generalized statement, but here there is an emphasis on the fact that people made Olive the king. The grass grows tall. The grass does grow tall. जब आप जोर दे के बात करना चाह रहे हैं कि लाजमन पक्की बात है क्यों होता है, the grass does grow tall. Whereas the grass grows tall means it is a regular statement. Well, here we have the 8th rule to transform sentences, and the rule is transform to imperative. This transformation creates a command. It may be used with all sentence patterns. To make the imperative transformation, replace the sentence subject with you understood and change the verb form to its infinitive form without to. What I mean by this is, look at the examples. The dog eats the bone. Eat the bone. Mary gave Joe a ring. Give Joe a ring. We consider Joe intelligent. Consider Joe intelligent. The people made Olive king. Make Olive king. The grass grows tall. Grow tall. Well, I really wonder whether the grass would listen to this command or not. I am happy. Be happy. There is only one sentence simple present for the imperative transformation. So the important thing that you need to remember is only simple present tense. As you can see in all of these examples, simple present tense is to be used for imperative transformation. Moving on to the 9th rule of transformation, transform to exclamatory. This transformation creates a surprise statement. It may be used with all sentence patterns. To make the exclamatory transformation, place what or how at the beginning of the sentence. So the rule is place what or how at the beginning of the sentence. Number 2, rearrange words in the sentence as needed and place an exclamation point at the end of the sentence. Now look at the sentence. The dog eats the bone. What a bone the dog eats. Mary gave Joe a ring. What a ring Mary gave Joe. So it shows surprise, it shows excitement, etc. We consider Joe intelligent. How intelligent we consider Joe? The people made Olive king. What a king the people made Olive. Surprise. So the grass grows tall. How tall the grass grows? So exclamation shows that this is an expression of surprise, but if you put a question mark instead of this exclamation, it would become a question. How tall the grass grows, or how tall does the grass grow, with a question mark. I'm happy. How happy I am, exclamation mark. How happy I am, if you put this exclamation, you replace it with question mark, of course its meaning would be changed. Well, dear students, in many cases more than one transformation may be performed at a time on a given sentence. Look at the example. For example, here passive and interrogative, 2 types of transformations are applied simultaneously. Joe gave Mary a ring. Why was a ring given to Joe by Mary? So passive form was a ring, आप यहाँ से देख सकते हैं, और subject becomes the object, and then interrogative, why indicates that interrogative. Look at this example. Active to passive transformation, negative transformation and interrogative transformation all are used simultaneously. Joe gave Mary a ring. The sentence can be transformed by using all the 3 transformations. Wasn't a ring given to Joe by Mary? So this wasn't, NT, not an abbreviation for not, it shows the use of negative. You can see the passive form, wasn't a ring given to, was and given they show, and then the use of by, they indicate the passive form, and then the positioning of was at the beginning and a question mark at the end indicate the interrogative form. Please look at the next example. This is of the use of a cleft, emphasis and interrogative at the same time. The original sentence is Joe gave Mary a ring, and the transformation is, was it a ring that Joe did give Mary, or was it Joe who did give Mary a ring? So did give in this case, and in the other case here as well it shows emphasis. It's interrogative. You can see the question marks in both the cases, and you can see the use of was at the beginning as well, and you can see the cleft, you can see the direct the emphasis on the subject and the object. Here in this case, object is brought at the beginning. In this cleft transformation, here subject Joe is brought at the beginning. So my dear students, these were some rules of sentence transformation. Well, what I would like to say is that this is not the end of the rules of sentence transformation. However, I chose to share with you the rules that I thought are basic and are of more use in academic writing. All you need to do is to have some practice of these rules. The more you would practice, the more you would be able to apply these rules. With this, we move forward. Well, so far we have been making all the transformations based on the sentence structures, based on the structural and syntactic forms. However, sometimes you want to use a particular word, and the particular word that you want to use needs a particular kind of structure. So when you change that content word, actually the structure is to be changed accordingly. Here I have an exercise for you. By doing this exercise, actually I would teach you how by changing one word there is a need to transform the structure of the rest of the sentence, still retaining its meaning. So let us practice this. The first sentence that we have is, can you understand what this paper means? Now, for example, if instead of the word understand, the word sense is to be used. You can see here I have given the word that is to be replaced, that is sense. If you want to use this word in a particular context, but you want to say the same thing, how would you say that? For example, does it make any sense what this paper means? अच्छा, आप और भी बहुत सारी formations बना सकते हैं. Try those. So I would quickly read these for you, and I would like you to work on these. As I go through these, please notice that this word would replace what and how the sentence would be transformed. Do it on your notebooks, and then we would see how far you have done it correctly. Coming to number 2, it wasn't necessary to meet me at the airport yesterday. Now, need not or wasn't necessary की जगह needn't or need not is to be used. Number 3, it was unkind of you to talk to her like that. अब it was unkind, un prefix use हुआ है, that means no or not. So if you exactly have to use the word not, how would you reconstruct, or you would transform the sentence with the same meaning? Number 4, I saw the film although I strongly dislike thrillers. You would use spite, that is you can use in spite or despite. अब आपकी choice है. It's not possible to play tennis because of the rain. यहाँ पर अब it's not possible to play, अब यहाँ पर एक direct verb आप makes अगर use करना चाहते हैं यहाँ पर it's not की बजाय, तो what would you do? Okay, if you have done this, now let us look at the examples, the answers of these examples quickly. Can you understand what this paper means? मैंने एक पहले आपको करके दिखाया था. Does it make any sense what this paper means? दूसरी example यहाँ पर है, can you make sense of this paper? अच्छा, now in all these answers that I have provided in blue, you would notice that some dots are used. These dots are not a part of the sentence. You would simply ignore these dots. They are just given here to facilitate us to mark the area where the change is made. It wasn't necessary to meet me at the airport yesterday. You didn't have met me at the airport yesterday. Or you didn't find it important to meet me at the airport yesterday. Number 3, it wasn't kind of you to talk to her like that. You should not have talked to her like that. Now look at example 4. I saw the film although I strongly dislike thrillers. I saw the film in spite of my. अब ये ये डॉट्स जो ना ये यहाँ पर ही कंसिडर नहीं होंगे. दिस इज जस्ट टू शो दिस इज वन इन स्पाइट ऑफ माई स्ट्रॉन्ग डिसलाइक फॉर थ्रिलर्स. और यू कैन से आई सॉ द फिल्म डिस्पाइट माई, फिर उस केस में ऑफ नहीं लगेगा, डिस्पाइट माई स्ट्रॉन्ग डिसलाइक ऑफ thrillers. In the same way, number 5, it is not possible to play tennis because of the rain. The rain makes it impossible to play tennis. So instead of using this auxiliary form is, if you want to use a direct verb makes, what you would do is the rain makes it impossible to play tennis. With this we move on to the next slide, and here again we have a set of sentences where some transformation is to be made with the help of the clues that are given. Number 6 sentence here that is shown at the top of the slide is, I've never tasted such good food before. Now the word clue is ever. Instead of never you would use ever. Number 7, do your parents allow you to watch TV late at night? Instead of allow you would use let. Coming towards number 8, did you write a note for Anna? I asked my mother. And you are supposed to use she. Now number 9, he gave me the money first and then he left. Instead of then you are supposed to use after. And finally, number 10 instance here, I don't find it difficult to get up early anymore. So instead of the phrase find it difficult, you are supposed to use used or used to. Take your time to do this activity before you move on to the next slide. Please ensure that you work on it so that you learn through practice. Once you are done with this, I would like you to move on to the next slide. And on the next slide, you can see some possible options that I have created for you here with the help of the given clues. So the sentence at the top, number 6 sentence, I have never tasted such good food before, it can be transformed as, it is the best food I have ever tasted. Number 7, do your parents allow you to watch TV late at night? By using let as the clue, do your parents let you watch TV late at night? You see, you can notice the construction using let. And you can also notice that the meaning is exactly the same as the first option. Coming towards number 8, did you write a note for Anna? I asked my mother. I asked my mother whether she had written a note for Anna, or I asked my mother if she had written a note for Anna. Number 9, he gave me the money first and then he left. He left after he had given me money, or he left after he had after giving me the money. Instead of he left after he had given me money, you can simply have the option he left after giving me the money. So basically ये यहाँ पर this oblique mark, the phrase before and after it, any of these can be used. The leftmost and the rightmost parts that are separated with the help of dots, they are to be retained in either case. Number 10 example states, I don't find it difficult to get up early anymore. Simply, I am used to getting up early. If you are going to use used as a clue for that. With this, we move on to the next set of sentences that are to be transformed with the help of clues. This time the clues are, number 1, he really likes correcting her English, and the clue is player. Number 12, it's not necessary to take a lot of luggage when going on holiday. So, it's not necessary to take a lot of luggage when going on holiday. Instead of a lot of, you're supposed to use much. In number 13, if you look at the sentence, perhaps he hasn't received the doctor's results yet. Instead of perhaps, may is the clue, may is the option that you're supposed to use. In the same way, for number 14, all I want you to do is to look after my dog. The word care is to be used. For number 15, you have, she was not certain about the trip. And the word clue that is given to transform is decide. Well, I would like you to spend some time working on these, and it would really be a good idea if you stop here for a while and you actually write these sentences. You rewrite them by transforming them with the help of the clues. This would give you good practice in how to transform and how to apply different rules. Once you are done, I would like you to move on to the next slide. So here is the next slide that provides answers to this set of 5 sentences with the transformation that is done here for you. Number 11 was, he really likes correcting her English. And the word clue was player. So he takes pleasure in correcting her English. And you can see that the meaning is retained in case of the transformed sentence. In the same way, if you look at sentence 12, you would see it's not necessary to take a lot of luggage when going on holiday. And when by using the clue of the word much to transform it, when you create the sentence, you don't need much luggage when going to holiday, or you need not take much luggage when going on holiday, or you don't have to take much luggage when going on holiday. Any of these would mean the same as the original sentence. Again, I would like to explain that by using these 2 oblique marks, actually these 3 options don't need much, didn't need much, or don't have to take much. All these options are given and you can choose any of these options. However, you at the beginning of the sentence and the part that is mentioned after these dots, that is luggage when going on holiday, is to be retained. So you can create these 3 options that I have given to you. Number 13 is, perhaps he hasn't received the doctor's results yet. And if may is your clue to transform the sentence, the possibility of transforming it can be, he may not have received the doctor's results yet. Sentence number 14 states, all I want you to do is to look after my dog. And if you have to use the word word care to transform the word, and if you have to use the sentence in a way where you would have care as a clue to transform, what you can do is, all I want you to do is to take care of my dog. Finally, the last sentence on this slide is, she was not certain about the trip. And if you have to use the word decide in this sentence, how you would transform it? She couldn't decide about the trip. And this is the last set of sentences that I would like you to practice with. The clues are given as they were given in the previous cases. Number 16 sentence here states, he locked the gate so that the dog wouldn't escape. The word clue is prevent. Number 17, they did not like to pay extra taxes. The word clue is objected. The day was so nice that we went on a picnic. Word that is to be used to transform is such. Number 19 is, the only person I didn't see was Jane. And the word to be used is except. And finally, number 20th, she decided to visit her friend and tell her the news. And the word that is given as a clue is drop. Once you are done, I would like you to move on to the next slide. And here you have the answers for all these sentences that were to be transformed. Number 16, he locked the gate so that the dog wouldn't escape. And the transformed option could be, he locked the gate to prevent the dog from escaping. This use of from, of course, is optional, that is why given in bracket. Number 17, they did not like to pay extra taxes. and the transformed sentence with the use of objected can be, they objected to paying extra taxes. The transformed option for this sentence by using such can be, it was such a nice day that we went on a picnic. The 19th sentence that is given here is, the only person I did not see was Jane. And the correct answer by using except can be, I saw everyone except Jane. The last sentence on the slide states, she decided to visit her friend and tell her the news. And the correct option when you transform it by using drop is, she decided to drop in on her friend and tell her the news. So I hope that you would have done good on the activity. If you still struggle with transforming some of the structures, I would advise you to do some practice on using the rules that I have shared with you, how to change the structures. With this, we move towards the end of our today's session. The whole session mainly covered the sentence transformation. I started with what is sentence transformation. I defined it for you and I talked about its importance. I talked about why we need to learn sentence transformation. Then we moved on to the rules of sentence transformation. I shared a lot of rules with you regarding sentence transformation. It does not mean that I have covered all the rules, however. The rules are exhaustive, so there are possibilities of doing more work on transformation of sentences. However, I have given you the basic rules that are used in the writing of English when it comes to transforming sentences. And I have preferred discussing those rules that are most of the times more applicable in academic writing, because academic writing is the area where you would have to apply them. I have also given you some exercises on sentence transformation. We have been through these exercises together. I have also provided you the possible correct answers of these exercises, and I have shown you how there are always possibilities open for us to transform a sentence into another form or structure, still retaining its meaning. Ability to transform sentences in this way actually enables the writers to have more options when it comes to writing, and thus they can choose options as per their needs, as per their choices, and this also boosts their confidence in writing. So with the suggestion that review all these rules once again, I would say that this is the end of today's session. Thank you very much.